All right, so basically we're doing the van conversion in Tropical Storm Ada, is it? Ada, everything's getting wet. Got to close the garage door. Hello. Well, finally I get to continue on my van conversion. In my garage, workshop, outside is still the remnants of Tropical Storm Eta, E-T-A, I think it is, Eta. And it came through here yesterday, all weekend. It's just been blowing like crazy, lots and lots of rain. So we've been trying to work on the van this weekend, but it's really difficult coming in and out of the van from the rain, but we did manage to get some done. But this is part of this video is all about the upper cabinets in the van. We have two upper cabinets, and I want to tell you, it was difficult. You can watch all the YouTube videos on this until you're blue in the face. Which I did, and everybody seems to have worked it out, but my gosh, I knew when I started this was going to be one of the more stressful builds in this van. Reason so is because it's about the angles and the measurements and the right places to be able to attach fairing strips and blah blah blah. Most people would go ahead and build these cabinets and then place them up there. That's not the way Nancy and I roll, but we built it as we went along. And the good news is they are finished. They're extremely durable and strong. Maybe they're not as pretty as some of them. Maybe they're not pretty at all. But we went through just hell doing this, and I'll go through this video. I'm sorry, there's not going to be a lot of it showing every little detail. That's because the frustration portion of it overtook the desire to videotape it. And guess what? Nancy and I are still married, so apparently we get along real well. So anyway, we worked it out, and eventually we got the cabinets up. So they're done. No more upper cabinets. Maybe a shelf or two above the area where our heads are in the bed area, but that's about it. Lower cabinet, I don't seem to have a problem with that. I've already started on the one that's going to be under the window. We're waiting on material and different things for the measurements before I can actually finish that off. So here we go. Let's start from the beginning, and I'll show you how this cabinet conversion, van conversion thing started. And believe me, like I said, it was frustrating. So here we go. All right. At first I had told you that we were going to put windows here and a window behind Nancy. You don't have to see that now, but after our last trip, we decided we got windows in the back, and what we're doing is we're covering them. If we put a window here, we'd just be covering it, and it is not insulated. So on Promasters, behind her there are these two, I call them like bulkhead supports. They really don't support much of anything, and if you look in other YouTube videos, you can see that these do come off. Now I've already started to come off. What I did is I just took one of these, put a towel underneath it, and kind of pop that bottom part out. I will scrape this off. So now what I'm going to do is just basically work this out up here. There you go. So of course you can see I'm going to scrape all this off. This is all flat. I'll file that down a little bit, and I'll also file this down a little bit here. But I'll take and scrape this all off. So now we've got a nice smooth surface. What we're going to do here, we're going to put a little bit of insulation behind here, and we're going to try to make it to box it in so I still have the length that I'd normally have, and actually a little bit more because we have that space. So we'll see how this works out, but I just wanted to show you that this does come out, and the one, just turn the camera around, this here is where we will put the window in, so we'll actually be pulling this one out too and taking this kill mat out. So
let's get on with it. Here's a part of my
We decided not to put a window here, but being that I'm 6'2" or better, I did not want to give up this feet space between the one side and this side. So we had to come up with a way to fit this piece of plywood in here, but of course directly on the other side of this, of course there's a little bit of insulation, but on the directly it's the outside of the van. So obviously we don't want to screw a hole through the outside of the van. We were going to think about doing a cubicle box to box this in here, but you know that got a little bit too complicated for me. So we cut out a perfectly good piece of plywood. We measured it out, we templated it, and we put some insulation behind it. But what we did is we took and we put some heavy duty glue sealant all over this and attached it in there. Then we took and we put these little braces. Not only are there screws going up and underneath into this metal, but I also have a 1 3/4 inch going through here and just going into the plywood. So that this is holding, not only is the adhesive holding this up, these pieces of wood here also. And what we're going to do with this, we are going to cut out a piece of plywood that will cover this, and it'll be kind of designer, and we're going to have this painted, and so it'll look real nice. And now what have I done? I've been able to keep that feet space for me when I'm laying in bed. So moving on, we're starting our upper cabinets. As you know, in the Promaster, you've got angles all over the place. So we cut these here at a 30-degree angle, which fit up real nicely between there, and then we put 2 screws right through into this area, into the metal. And the idea behind that is we are going to measure our back of our upper cabinet along here, and then we're going to come down with a 45-degree angle straight down over a piece of 1x2 right here, and that'll keep it perfectly straight. So then we can build our box, and we're going to build our cabinet out from that. So we're going to go ahead and cut out 4 pieces. I think they're 12-inch at a 45-degree angle, and then flat on the bottom, and start building this cabinet. It'll be our first one. Good luck. In order to come down in this angle and kind of get this at a 90-degree, like I said, we cut these at 30 degrees, and I cut this one at 45 degrees. I put a 1x2 fairing strip behind this. So now I got a flat plate here. So I am going to, we had to measure, these were all different lengths and stuff, so we did number 2, 2, 1, 1, 3. So this is real solid in here right now for this cabinet. And we're going to come out now from here and up to frame out this cabinet. We're kind of building it on the van, whereas 99.9% of everybody else out there builds their cabinets and they put them up. That's not how we roll. My God, getting this all done on all these angles, getting this cabinet, but it's framed out. So I think the hard part's done now. Nancy's just kills in the wood, and we're going to actually paint it and make it look real nice. So we'll put face plates on this, we'll put end caps on that, we'll put the plywood in the back, plywood underneath, and we'll have our first cabinet up over the bedroom. All right, so this is the semi-finished product. We added this on. We took and put a piece of wood behind this. There's insulation behind this, but we found this kind of a fleece material that goes across with bears on it. So very appropriate for Old Smoky here. So this was the first cabinet we started. We weren't going to put doors on it, but we decided to. Now you're going to notice that, well, we put these really nice, they're kind of like an oak knob. You're going to notice that these open up from the bottom down, from the top down. And one of the reasons is we were having a hard time with the hinges to keep them up. We had those gas-powered ones. I just didn't like those, so we did go to the ones on the bottom. Now after doing that, we're happy about it because now we've got this area here, and also if they were up on the top, it would have been covering all the lights. So that is the cabinet that's going over the foot part of the bed. And like I said, over the head part of the bed, we're probably going to put shelves up there because I still have to put my solar and another strip of ceiling up there. Coming on to this cabinet, got a real nice little Smoky Bear knob, and again, this one is opening from the top to the bottom. Again, the lights are here, so when the lights are on, we can see in there. Got a nice little work area here. Underneath here is going to be where my next other cabinet with a countertop's going to go on it. So these cabinets close up real nice. They're very sturdy, and like I said, maybe they're not the prettiest, but they were difficult, and we really like them. And in the back here also, where there was insulation above the door there, we put a piece of wood here, cut it out to the shape of that, and we also put that fleece kind of material over that, and for Old Smoky. So, like I said, or I'm going to say, driver's side is going to be all electric. Dometic freezer, refrigerator there. Another bottom cabinet, a window there. All that's going to be with that shiplap or whatever, tongue and groove there. Got a cabinet. We're going to fill in all these spaces here. This is where my switch breaker to the panels are going to come here, down to my charge controller, and then down eventually to my bus bar and into my batteries, which under there is going to be a second 100 amp hour Renogy battery. On this side, this is going to be where my water tank's going to go. Into my pump. First into a strainer, then my pump. Underneath here will be an accumulator. Coming up, we're putting a butcher block on there, putting our sink, our faucet, and our gray water extraction underneath there. So we got two sides of this fan to do. Eventually that's a swivel seat. And I'm not sure, I think I'll mention, or I will mention, that I'm not sure which side I will be doing. But took us 2 weekends to get this accomplished, but we got these two cabinets up and I feel good about it. So, all right guys. All right, so that's kind of it in a nutshell. Like I said, not all the details did I videotape, only because of just coming in and out of the van and being frustrated and all that good stuff with the rain and everything. I didn't get a chance to videotape, but I think I got enough of it in there. So they're done. So now we're talking about next weekend, probably do a little work on the lower cabinet, but we're going to take a trip right during the Thanksgiving area. So we're going to be taking a trip. And then in December, we're going to be taking another trip. But when I come back from my trip in November, I've got a decision to make. On the driver's side of the van is going to be my solar is going to come in there, my refrigerator I'm going to be using, I'm pretty sure we're getting this Dometic cooler refrigerator. That's going to be in there. That's what we have to wait for in order to get the proper measurements in order to build that cabinet and the cabinet next to it. But we should have no problem with that. But in order to do that, I need to get my solar in, which means my 2 solar panels, my solar charge controller. I'm going to put a breaker in between that to shut off the solar so I can work on it. A second 100 amp hour Renogy AGM battery, and all the wires and everything are already there. But so that would be on the driver's side. So I haven't made a decision yet if I'm going to do that next, or on the passenger side where my plumbing's going to be. So I'm up in the air of how much fresh water I want to keep on the there, but I got to have the fresh water tank. I got the strainer going into my pump, which I already have, going into an accumulator, and then eventually up into my faucet and into my sink, which I have to set into a butcher block countertop, and do also the dirty water portion of that. So that's on that side. That's on the driver's side. The water's on the passenger side. They're both going to take a lot of work, and they're both going to take a lot of money. So that is pretty much what I have left, and the one small window we're going to put in. And so I'm not sure yet which direction. I'm leaning towards the refrigerator and the solar right now, but we'll see how that goes when I come back. Stay tuned though, this weekend. Prior to this weekend or this weekend, I'm going to be giving a subscriber appreciation giveaway. I was lucky enough to get a couple things in the mail from somebody that wished to participate in this, and I won't let the cat out of the bag yet, but just make sure you're a subscriber. That's going to just be one of the requirements, and I will post that this weekend, so stay tuned for that. And then we'll be going away, like I said, and then after that I'll be continuing on the van conversion, and then another trip right around Christmas. We're going to be heading north also. So a lot's coming up. A lot of good things are going to happen here. Can't wait till this weather gets better. Down here in Florida, we are sick of rain and these storms. I am so ready to get out of here, you wouldn't believe it. So anyway, I have a lot to do today, and I'll get back to you guys. And please subscribe, hit that like button if you enjoy these videos, and make sure you're a subscriber, because we're going to do a good giveaway this weekend. All right, take care. Bye-bye.